Hey guys, I'm doing a live video. This is my first live that I've ever done on my YouTube channel. And the reason for that is I'm at a special event in San Antonio, Texas. I'm going to let a few more people jump on here. I'm going to give you a quick tour of the parking garage here that's got about 100 vintage cars, all 1974 or older. I'm going to show them to you here just to give you a quick preview and give you an idea of why I'm not doing my regularly scheduled Friday video. This is going to be a live video showing you that, and then next Friday I'll actually still be on the Great Race, so I'll also go live then and show you where we're at then. So it's a pretty big commitment for me, and I do want to say thanks for all the support on the channel. This is a little bit different for me, my first live video, so if you're in the chat, go ahead and let me know if you can hear me, if I need to speak up, if I need to get a little closer to the phone. Just give me an idea of what I need to do to make this better for you guys. And once we get a few more people on here, I can start walking around. Right now we're looking at, I believe this is Navarro Street, downtown San Antonio. I think I'm on the 5th floor of this parking garage, and this corner hotel right here is where we're staying. It's kind of a different setting for us. Normally we don't start in a city this big. Pretty cool place though, lots of cool stuff to see. We've got a really cool route this year. Now, I shouldn't say cool because it's going to be super hot. Like, it's going to be crazy hot. So our route this year goes from San Antonio, that's where we start tomorrow, and then we go into Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. We end in Greenville, South Carolina on next Sunday, not like Sunday a couple days from now, but next Sunday. So this is a 9-day rally. Big commitment in terms of the racers, big commitment in terms of the staff, and I've gone on this event for the last 10 years, so it's been a pretty big commitment for me as well. That's why I'm coming to you live. I want to show you what I do every summer. This event typically happens in June, sort of toward the end of June, pretty much every year. Of course, we had to take a break last year, but now that we got some people on here, I'm going to go ahead and start walking you around. This parking garage is pretty much, I mean, it's a mixture of different things, but we got a lot of old cars, and I wanted to walk you around and show some of them to you. We're going to start with this Studebaker. You see it's got some modern wheels on it, but part of the idea for the Great Race is to be authentic in terms of the engine and transmission. And most of these cars are going to be original in terms of mechanics. You know, you're not going to see a lot of LS swapped things like you might see on the Power Tour. This car is a good example. This is a 1948 Oldsmobile, and it actually has a V8 swap, and that means it is classified as a 1949 now because of that. But it still has the original look, still has the original style. There goes a 1917 Hudson. Now, the early cars are scored a little bit differently. This is not a just hang out and ride around type of event. This is actually scored, and the winner gets $50,000, and the early cars actually get an advantage. They get a scoring advantage based on the year of the car, as long as it has an authentic engine and transmission. So if you got a 1916 car and you put a modern engine in it, that really doesn't count. So yesterday we spent all day with tech inspection. That allowed us to take a look at each and every car, make sure they were safe, make sure that they were complying to the rules, make sure that they were authentic. So that's something that I'm kind of in charge of, is technical inspection and making sure the scoring year is appropriate. Once again, I'm going to ask you, if you're having trouble hearing me, just leave me a message there in the chat. This is the first time I've gone live, so it's kind of an adjustment for me. We got a really slick looking early Thunderbird. Almost too slick to be doing 2,300 miles. And I'm gonna go until my battery dies. So I see that my cell service isn't amazing here, so it's probably gonna drain my battery really quick. But I'm gonna keep on going live and show you guys some of these cars. Lots of Corvettes this year. I think there's a total of 13, which is kind of like a record. Most of them are original. Got a couple of resto mods in the mix. This one's cool. This is a silver blue 64 Corvette Coupe, exactly like the one I have at home, except this one is restored and mine is not. We got a Ford Model A. It's a 1931 model. It's got a V8 in it, so it gets scored as a 1932. We got a Buick GS Convertible, pretty rare car. On this other level, we got a Ford Falcon, Model A, Speedster, Impala up there. Got a Mustang and a 41 Ford. I'm gonna walk a little faster now and try to get you to some more cars before my battery dies and before I run out of service. All right, little Ford Fairlane, 4-door, perfectly comfortable. Not all that exciting as far as horsepower, but perfectly comfortable for the open road. 69 Corvette Convertible, pretty nice, little small block car. We got that's a Mercedes. It's hard to tell, but it's a Mercedes 190 SL, super slick car. 46 Ford Business Coupe. We got a 1916 Hudson. This is a previous winner of the race, multiple times. And then we got a 31 Packard. Extremely slick car. It's hard to tell in here, the lighting is pretty bad. But again, way too nice to be beaten up on 2,300 miles of driving. Got a late 40s Plymouth. Let's go check out some more. So the idea on this thing is to drive a precise route for 2,300 miles. It's 9 days of rallying, and they get some instructions that are kind of secretive. They're cryptic, I guess you could say. There's no road names or anything like that, and they don't get the instructions until the morning that they take off. So each day has a separate set of instructions, and it is tough. It's tough to just follow the instructions, but they're actually trying to stay on a prescribed time, so it's pretty crazy. Now, this is a 1941 Packard with a factory supercharger, pretty rare car. And then we got an original paint. I believe this is a 69 model. I don't know. I really don't know my Fords and Mercurys and all that kind of stuff very well, but 429 4-speed car, original paint, pretty cool. Let's go see some more before my phone dies. We got an MG. These are really good rally cars. They're kind of small though. You're going to be really good buddies with your navigator, because every team has a driver and navigator. The driver is in charge of staying on time. The navigator is in charge of doing all the math when it comes to slowing down and speeding up and all the maneuvers that the cars have to do. So it's really a team effort. I mean, it's a kind of a big undertaking. Here's a 57 Chevy. This is more of a resto mod type car, kind of more of a power tour car really than a great race car, but he comes every year. And then this thing is probably my favorite. I'm not a Ford guy by any means, but this is a 1966 Shelby GT 350 Hertz edition, legit 100% original race car, that has been transformed into several different types of race cars through the years. It's got full roll cage. Used to have a lift-off hood. They changed it back to having hinges. This thing's got the original Lexan rear window with the air gap between the window and the roof. Just killer car. A lot of original pieces, some of the original paint even on this car, and it's shined up really nice. It's pretty incredible how well this thing survived. So that one's going to get a lot of attention. That's a high dollar car, and it's pretty rowdy. It's got a pretty serious little small block in it. It's got a 5-speed transmission, which actually, it isn't against the rules, but it hurts his scoring factor because you couldn't get a 5-speed in 66. We got a little Rambler convertible. Pretty cool. Let's see what else we can find. We just keep going down in the parking garage trying to find some stuff. That's a 1940 Cadillac. Pretty slick car, although you can't tell much. This lighting in here is awful. I figured this would be the only time I could get a chance to see all the cars because I'm going to be super busy on this race. I do all the photography, so when things get started, I get pretty busy. Here's a Packard Coupe. This guy, and you see all these stickers. A lot of these are sponsor stickers, but all these little stickers up here are called aces. And what that is when they get a perfect score, they get an ace sticker. It's kind of a big deal. It doesn't happen all that often, but you can see the contenders. You can tell because they have a ton of ace stickers. I'm gonna keep moving here. Got a little Nash Metropolitan. That's pretty cool. Little bitty car to be going this type of distance, but they're pretty reliable. Some kind of little sports car under that cover. Can't tell exactly. As far as what I'm driving on this race, I'm driving a rental car. It's just a Toyota RAV4. Nothing exciting, unfortunately. But it'll get me from point A to point B. Got a little Mercury Comet convertible. That's cool. You'll notice a lot of these cars, they go ahead and pull their hubcaps off because they have to do some pretty tough maneuvers while they're out on the road. They actually have to take some corners pretty hard. I mean, they're not breaking any laws, but they do have to drive pretty aggressively. A lot of times they'll pop a hubcap off of there if they're not careful, so that's part of that deal. Some of the cars don't look super great when they have the hubcaps popped off, but here's a pretty cool Camaro 68 Super Sport 350. Years ago, they would not allow cars like that in the Great Race because they weren't old enough. And now it's opened in 1974, but they do have the age factor, so the 74 cars don't get the advantage. So 32 Fords, those are pretty popular. Flathead V8s. That's a pretty reliable combination. You'll see this one actually has a lot of aftermarket parts on it. That's actually a 24 stud flathead V8. That gets him scored as a 1938 instead of a 1932. It's a little 41 Ford truck. Again, the scoring is very different. He's got a 289 V8 in it, so that gets him scored as a 1964. So a lot of detail goes into this. There's a 1916 Hudson, one of the oldest cars on the Great Race. Hudsons are pretty popular applications here because they are strangely reliable for a 1916 vehicle. I don't know what they did to make it different, but they're pretty reliable cars and pretty amazing that they can go 2,300 miles with very little maintenance in between. So Hudson had something figured out back then. All right, we got to get to some more cars here. Oh no, do not enter. Here we got a Ford Model A. This is a Victoria, pretty rare car. They've upgraded some tires and wheels. It's got 16-inch wheels instead of the original 19s. That helps it be a little bit more consistent and reliable. Then we'll walk in. We got a AMC Javelin. Pretty cool car. This is kind of towards the end of the spectrum as far as the year range allowed. Timothy, the race starts in San Antonio, Texas, and it ends in Greenville, South Carolina. We're going up through Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. 32 Ford. The Martin's got a brand new car this year, flathead powered. That's going to get them a good score. They are definitely contenders. We've got an early Mustang, 6-cylinder car. Sorry, it looked like I lost connection there for a minute. If you're wanting to have fun, that's the way to do it right there. Big Cadillac. That thing probably rides really good. There's a lot of gas though, 2,300 miles. I think as far as it goes, this one might be a little more efficient. 1969 Saab. This has got a V engine in it. It's a little baby, but still pretty cool. Gets a lot of attention. Again, I'm just going to go until my phone dies, basically. So I'm going to keep showing you some of these cars. This is like a homemade speedster, just a little homemade body. You're just right out here in the elements. Only thing you got is that little bitty roof. I mean, they're going to be hot. San Antonio's already been hot. We're up in the 90s right now, and it's morning time. But it's going to be hot as we continue on this race. Pretty much everywhere we go is going to be hot and humid. So let's look at some more cars here. I'm going to go back up this row, find our way back to kind of where we started. So again, the 32 Fords are popular. They're not the most comfortable application, but they get a good score and they're pretty reliable. And there's a 64 Corvette Coupe. That's a fuel injected car. Pretty high dollar piece to be beaten up on the highway. All right, we got to walk some more. I'm gonna go up the stairs to save a little bit of time here. So again, part of my job on this thing is to photograph the race. I also do all the social media for this race. So definitely pay attention to the great race on Instagram and on Facebook. We'll be posting stuff all the time, just daily updates while we're on the route. We do a daily recap each night. Here's a car I didn't see earlier. Super Sport 396 68 Chevelle Convertible. Pretty slick car to be running around like crazy in. But you can see it's pretty much original. Got the little narrow white wall tires on there. And here we go. This is what I'm driving. Toyota RAV4. It's got the stickers, so I think that counts for something. Nice. Here's a quick view of the, well, no, sorry, it's locked. Quick view of the instructions. I'm going to show you what these guys have to look at when they're trying to do this route. It's pretty crazy. So, the instruction booklet, you get that every morning. And there's 9 of these things. And it's paper, it's old school. And you have turn-by-turn instructions, but once they get into the route where they're on the clock, there are no road names at all, ever. So they have to essentially pay attention to each and every sign, and they have speed changes. and they have an amount of time that they have to go certain speeds and then change to new speeds. It's incredible to see how closely these guys can get to the original time. And just to give you an idea, after 9 days, 2,300 miles, typically the winner of this race will be under 1 minute away from the original perfect time, which is determined by what we call a rally master, or the director of competition. He determines that time with a special device, and it is kind of crazy with the lengths that these people go to. Here we are back at this Shelby Mustang. Let's take one more look at this, because this car is pretty special. There's a lot of special cars on this race, but this one's good. You'll even see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera because the lighting's bad, but there's like rock chips, like from the inside going out from where this thing had racing slicks on it all the way around and was road raced back in the day. It was also a drag car, had a 671 blower and 2 4s. Pretty wild to think about a car like that being a drag car. We've got a little Chevy too. That's a 6-cylinder car. Perfectly reliable, perfectly cool. 62 Corvette, very slick car. Little white wall tires on there from Coker Tire, of course. Just to give you guys an idea of why I'm here, I work for Coker Tire Company, and the Coker Tire Company owns the Great Race. So every year I get to go on this trip. It's about 2 weeks away from the family, which is pretty rough, but it's pretty enjoyable too. There's a family aspect here on the Great Race, so it's enjoyable. It's got its ups and downs, but we have a lot of fun. I get to hang out with a lot of buddies that I just usually see once a year, and get to hang out with my buddy Jason. We used to run this route together. He would do video production for the TV show that comes on covering this race. He has actually graduated to being the announcer of the event. Definitely a different role for him. But I'm still doing my same old thing of taking pictures, doing social media. I love this little Barracuda. That's a Slant 6 car. 55 Chevrolet truck. That's a first series Chevrolet truck before they changed the body style. Okay, we got to take a better look at this Packard. We couldn't see it earlier because there was another car. This thing is like a museum type car that's going to be out here. This thing is huge. Like getting it in this parking garage was a chore just by itself. So, pretty nice vehicle right here. Huge Firestone white wall tires. So I guess, I don't know if they called this a convertible coupe, but it looks like the top would go down and the windows would go down and you'd have like a cabriolet type deal. Not sure the official name on that. So going back through here, we're kind of seeing some other stuff. You know, we've already seen this Corvette. We've seen a couple of these cars. I'm trying to show you some things I haven't run across yet. Let's see if we can find something here before my phone dies. Everybody's leaving right now. We had a big meeting this morning, and everybody's leaving right now to go on what's called the trophy run, which is kind of a practice run. We do just sort of a half-day rally on Friday, and then the green flag drops tomorrow morning right next to the Alamo here in San Antonio. So we're downtown. Pretty big city. I didn't realize San Antonio was this big. Maybe I'm just not very up to speed on my Texas cities, but it's a big place. And we're back to that 64 Corvette Coupe. Love that car. Wish mine was that nice. Pretty cool. All right, let's go this other way, see what else we can see. We're back to this very slick Thunderbird. Very, very slick. Got a Model A two-door sedan. Ford Falcon Convertible. Pretty clean little two-tone paint job. Impala Convertible. You notice a lot of convertibles on this race, but you won't see very many tops down because it is super hot and that sun is intense out there. Texas sun is no joke. We've got a 63 Corvette Convertible. Tons of Corvettes this year. Record number of Corvettes. So we got a, what year is this one? 70, yes, 1970 Corvette Convertible. See, it's got the special hood, big block, yes. See if it's got a 4-speed, also yes. And see, it has these really weird looking speedometers that are very precise. Those are very expensive also, but they're very precise. They allow them to really dial in what these cars can do as far as getting down to the I don't know, 100th of a second. So pretty big deal that these guys, they commit a lot of money and a lot of time to this. This is a 1917 Peerless. This car has been on the Great Race many times. This is the Haggerty team, one of our sponsors, and these guys, again, they're out in the open here. Pretty tough conditions, but this car is kind of an icon of the Great Race. Been around a long time. Original engine transmission setup is authentic 1917 equipment. Pretty crazy that cars like this can make it that far, but they do. They're actually more reliable in a lot of cases than some of the 60s cars. It's kind of hard to judge which cars will make it and which ones won't. There's a little Mustang Coupe, pretty slick. Got some aftermarket wheels on it, but underneath the hood, still pretty much original. A really nice Nissan. Nice. Buick sedan, probably very comfortable. I'm sure it's got a straight 8 under the hood. Here's a cool Great Race style car. This is a Model A, is what it's based off of. So it's got a 4-cylinder Model A flathead engine. It's got a modified, pretty much homemade body. It's a speedster, so it kind of comes back to a point back here, very aerodynamic. And then again, you're out here in the open. When it rains, you get wet. When the sun's out, you get sunburned. It's intense. Pretty cool car. All right, so we're back to where we started on our little tour. Back here to this Studebaker and the Oldsmobile. I'm probably gonna wrap it up here. I'm just gonna let you know once again, this is not normal for me to do a live stream. I've never actually done one on my channel before, but I wanted to do it here to show you guys the Great Race. This is something that I do every year, every summer. We go across the country. The route changes every year, and that's allowed me to see some pretty cool places, San Antonio being one of those cool places. We're going to start the race on Saturday, tomorrow morning, and we're going through Texas into Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. So we're going to be busy, but I'm going to come back and show you some more footage as it is convenient. Probably on Friday, next Friday. We'll see where we're at. I think that's going to be in, let's see, where we're going to be Friday. I think we'll be in Virginia. We'll see. But stay tuned. If you want to follow along with this, go to the Great Race Facebook page. You can also go to greatrace.com. Every day we're going to be posting pictures and recaps of where we went, some of the cool stuff we see. We see a lot of collections and museums. So stay tuned to that. Coker Tire Facebook, I also run that, so you can see more footage there. And then again, I'll come back next week with another video to show you where we are on the route. So thanks again for the support. Thanks again for all you guys watching and supporting the channel. Here's a cool view. That's a couple of speedsters down there. They're getting ready to go on the Haggerty Trophy run to get ready for this rally. So again, thanks for watching. We'll keep you updated. We'll see you next week.